So just a quick one. I just got back from work and I want to do this quickly. I posted on my status why I follow the investment theory, and that if your partner is not investing in you, there is a fundamental problem in that relationship. There is a big problem in that relationship, and I've gotten some reactions to that, which I actually expected those reactions, and some are valid. Some have raised valid questions, and why some get triggered unnecessarily or misunderstood what the point is about. When I said I follow or subscribe to the investment theory of relationships, and I want to follow up with this and just explain to those who want to understand what investment theory is about. There is sound psychological research that support this position that I've taken. And it's not today that I believe that I've always taken this position. I've always maintained this position for a long time. And the question is, should we now treat or relationships like marriages, it's business? The answer is yes. Relationships like marriage is a serious business and should be treated as such. But then what is the investment theory that is very key, very critical to the success of relationships? If you think about investment, you think about what you have contributed to that relationship. What have you invested into that relationship that will make walking away from that relationship costly? That the cost of walking away becomes very high. When you have two people in a relationship, you are partners. And as partners, it is your primary responsibility to invest in each other, to invest in that which you share in common, in that business, that relationship. If one person in that partnership, because of course partnership, when you say partners, you mean you both share something, you have a common interest. And if one person is investing in that relationship, that breeds resentments and a burnout. At some point, that person will get tired, and easy to work out. Likewise, if the other partner who is not investing, when push comes to shove, that person knows that she or he has little or nothing to lose, will walk away. So the investment theory here is about putting more into that relationship to make it succeed, to make walking away from that relationship costly for the partners. And we should think in terms of the cognitive bias called sunk cost. What is sunk cost? Simply put, what you have sunk into that relationship. What, like, when you sink something in, what have you brought into that relationship? Sunk cost. What is the cost? What has it cost you in that relationship? That when you think cognitively about leaving that relationship, you will develop these biases and say, no, I don't want to leave because I've put so much into this relationship. Are making babies in relationship part of the investment theory? Yes, it's a significant part of the investment theory. When two people bear children in a relationship, they bear responsibility to make that relationship to work for the future of those children they bear. And that is why our foreparents were successful in their marriages, even when it was tough for them. Some people say, oh, our mothers, they were domesticated. They were not domesticated, or they didn't have much opportunities. Who told you that? Our mothers invested heavily in in their marriages. They considered the cost, what they had put into that, the sunk cost. That was why it was not easy for many of them to walk away from that relationship. The cost our mothers put into their marriages were not just bearing children. They supported their husband in the farmlands. to bring food and money home. They were not just they were not just home raising children. They supported their husbands in the farmland too, cultivating the land, bringing food crops, while some of the food crops were for subsistence of the family. They were large part of it were for providing the financial support of the family. So our mothers were not just staying at home. They were not just stay-at-home mothers. They go to the market to sell, to help their husband to sell those products also. So there are so many aspects of investment theory. It's not just about the money. The money is very key. If we are in a relationship and I'm investing in you to grow and develop, and you're not doing the same for me, at some point I will resent you. At some point I will burn out. I will have a burnout, and it's not healthy. And when your partner suffers burnout, becomes unhealthy, can no longer provide, support you, there's a big problem. And you don't want to see your partner burn out because he or she is bearing the responsibility or responsibilities of that relationship alone. You need to do all your best, any way you can, to make life easy and peaceful for the other person, for each other. Now, the investment theory is looking at the commitment. The commitment here is the glue. The commitment is the glue. Then another element is about the reciprocity. The reciprocity. We are not looking at the quality of what you invested. There is no way or any time that your both investment in that relationship will be equal. The investment in relationships will never be equal. That is not what the investment theory is looking at. The investment theory is looking at the reciprocity. The reciprocity. It is looking at the commitment as the glue. It is looking at the effort, your time, emotional, psychological, material. It is looking at the sunk cost. These are the elements. And yes, bearing children is part of the investment theory that will make you to be more commitment, to glue, to make that relationship to work. That is what the investment theory is about. And if anyone who doesn't understand or try to get, who gets triggered for simple discussions like this, people get easily triggered because they have not intellectually developed their mind to understand certain things. They get triggered easily. Instead of asking right questions to learn, they get triggered. Why are you saying this? What do you mean by that? In an annoying way. That is not I am not here to trigger you. I am here to engage intellectually. My interest is always to engage intellectually, to learn from someone else and to teach. I can only debate my equal. The rest I will teach. So that is what the investment theory is about. Ciao.